The small, dilapidated building wasn't in the middle of nowhere, but rather on its farthest edge, detached from society in every fashion except the dimly lit road 5 times removed from the nearest thoroughfare. The store's owner, an ancient man nearly as run down as his building, hid behind the large tome he dubbed light reading. He wasn't unaware of his store's decline. They no longer stocked fresh food, only that which had been packaged and processed beyond recognition. So you can imagine the man's surprise when, in the eerie hours between night and morning, a young woman pushed through the door, dressed in a hooded sweatshirt thrown over what appeared to be a short white gown. People hardly showed during the day, let alone now, at the most ungodly hour to grace the clock. The shock was almost enough to compel the old man to holster his novel, though he did not. The woman, for her part, did not impose on her host for long. She browsed the snacks for just a moment before snatching up a large bag of popcorn and taking it to the counter. The old man rang her up quickly, his movements efficient and practiced, his haste aimed to rid himself of the unwelcome interruption. Yet, as she left, he felt compelled either by absent courtesy or haughty gentility to issue a brief word of caution. "Be careful out there, young miss." She nodded respectfully and stepped into the cool air, breathing deeply to take the night into her lungs. Long auburn hair tumbled down as she removed her hood, illuminated by the gentle touch of the moon. The night is a time for fear and apprehension, but this night felt free of evolution's burden, full of song and beauty. She hummed softly as she turned the corner to the parking lot behind the building, casting an eerie but joyful rendition of Mozart's Das Violin into the empty stretch of concrete. The cicadas joined her melody, happy for the company. Only her own car, in which she assumed was the owner's car, sat in the lot, a few spaces apart. The lights on her sedan flashed twice, and she opened the passenger door, which creaked with antiquity, and she placed the bag of popcorn inside. As she did so, the night was chased out of the lot by the piercing LEDs of a black pickup truck. The woman watched as the large vehicle slid into the spot directly adjacent to her own, the windows rolling away to reveal a well-groomed man in his late 20s. He brushed dark hair neatly to the right side and rested his blue-gray eyes on the young woman. "Beautiful night," he remarked. The woman gazed back at him and smiled, the popcorn still clutched in her left hand. "It is, isn't it? I came out here to buy some popcorn." The man grinned affably, the expression natural on his handsome face. "A 3 a.m. snack run. Well, aren't you something? Look, I don't want to waste your time, miss. I was actually hoping you could give me some directions. I seem to have gotten a little turned around. I just need to know how to get to Route 65 and I'll be fine." He got out of his car and pulled a map off of his dashboard. "I could figure it out myself if you can just point out where this convenience store is." He was close now, close enough that she could smell the aftershave on his bare face. His green plaid flannel wrapped around his torso and a white shirt tucked into plain denim jeans. A friendly and apologetic look played over his face as he turned the map over to her. She laughed, an echoing sound in the barren lot. "How'd you end up all the way out here on the way to Route 65? You're in for a long night. It's an hour out at least. But if I'm correct, we should be right around here, along Willow Street." She placed her finger on the map. "Jesus," he said, chuckling good-naturedly. "I swear, I have the directional sense of a fruit bat in New York City. Thanks a bunch. You've really saved me a lot of trouble, Miss Mary," she said, shaking his extended hand. His smile shone in the moonlight, unable to be left in the dark, even in the dead of night. The cicadas were barely audible over the low thrum of his engine. "Well, Miss Mary, I really—" A loud, irritating ringtone interrupted him from inside the truck, and the man sighed in exasperation. "If you'll excuse me just a moment, Mary." He turned and leaned into his truck, searching for the source of the noise. He employed little urgency in his efforts to silence it. The phone just kept ringing and ringing as he kept fumbling around uselessly. Ringing and fumbling, ringing and fumbling. It was enough to make anyone crazy, the ringing and the fumbling. Ringing and fumbling as the moon caught on a shard of steel. Ringing and fumbling as his shirt grew a beautiful crimson flower. Now, safe behind locked doors, tucked away on the sofa with her Friday night snack, the woman imagined he lay there still, amidst the infernal ringing and that damnable fumbling.